And yes, guys, welcome back to 2025. The Ghostoul Podcast has returned. It's been a while. It's been nearly a month since the last time I spoke to you lovely people. And I hope you're well. I hope you had a good Christmas. I hope New Year was fruitful for you. And January is treating you well, if you've been paid. Anyway, back into this year. I have an awesome gentleman who I had the privilege of being on his podcast. And I have returned the favour. We have Chris from Whitehouse Investigations.
Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast. Watching you online and thinking, who is this guy I keep seeing a while back?
This annoying person.
Like I say, I got to interview you and was made up. So it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here.
We had a good chat, didn't we?
We did. Yeah.
So, how have you been? How has this year treated you so far?
Oh, fine. Absolutely fine. I set up my life to serve me.
That's the best way to do it.
So, I'm living the dream with things like this, being interviewed and, so getting my name out there to some degree is always good. We've not started investigating yet. Saturday's when we get together and make a plan of attack. And excited as ever, not knowing where we'll go or what we'll do, but just ready to get out there.
That's all you can do, really, isn't it? It's cold as well, so the warm nights in front of the telly are more appealing sometimes.
Yeah.
So, Chris, if we can start with your journey, how you got into the paranormal, that'd be awesome.
All right. Well, that goes back to when I was in single digits, and I don't remember not being into the paranormal, and I had I don't know whether the being woken up in the middle of a night by something I thought was a spirit came first, and that's what got me obsessed, or whether, which order it was. Because two things happened. One, I remember waking up in the middle of the night because something ripped the covers off me and put them back like a waft on a hot summer's night. When you waft the duvet.
Yeah.
But it just completely whipped down and went laid back on me. And I looked around thinking, who's done that? And there was just a figure stood at the end of my bed. Now, not stood on the bobbles on the end of my bed head on the bottom, if you understand what I mean, the foot of the bed. Yeah. So not stood on the floor, hovering. And this is what I'm always conflicted about. I think of it as that looked like the outline of The Snowman, the animated movie where the snowman is really thick. And so that I'm like, that's not a person then. That's something you've seen on TV. I've never actually fully seen that programme.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I still sleep now holding my covers. Tonight, I can't fall asleep from being single digits. I have to hold my covers. Yeah. So whatever happened that night has affected the rest of my life. Wow. Now, I screamed for my parents and nothing came out. And I remember trying again and nothing came out. So I just hid under the covers as you do.
Yeah.
And waited till morning. And got up, told the family, 2 older brothers, they weren't having any of it. My mother, just a nightmare. And it was horrible being a child and thinking, I know you're not going to believe me. I know you're not, but I've got to tell you in case you say, yeah, I had that. So that was the one thing that happened to me. But also the second thing I mentioned was my starting a ghost gang in the first school playground. Found 2 other lads who, we must have been 7 at the maximum. And we got talking about ghosts. I was like, oh, you like ghosts? And we all had the same sort of Usborne book of ghosts, which were very popular at that time. Hugely influential on my getting into it. So I said, why don't we start a ghost gang? So that was it. I was the leader of that, my first ghost gang back then. And we did one investigation of the school toilets. We'd heard that.
I love it.
Yeah, we'd heard that the caretaker of the school had actually died there, and was supposed. I was like, probably not though. You know what I mean? I was like, every school's going to have that. But we went in there. Yeah. We went in there. I said, "Is there anyone here? Any spirits? Give us a sign." And then it wasn't long before the two lads with me was like, off. The one, too scared. So, and I was scared. So I was like, I'll give it another go. I said, "All right, I'm here on my own now." And I was like messing with radiator knobs for some reason. I remember that because I don't know what I did, but I think the toilet was locked in the afternoon because someone had messed with the radiators, and that was me. but yeah, I declared that kid's toilet in that school was not haunted because I didn't get a reply. So that was my first ghost hunt. And I was just obsessed. Every Christmas I wouldn't be asking for a football or anything. It would be Star Wars figures and ghost books. I just wanted to absorb as much as I could find, which in the 80s was very little. You know, as the years went by, you'd get Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World. And they were all very poor-faced, laughing at the Loch Ness Monster, I felt. You know, it's like, this nutter reckons he saw something. But hey, who knows? Maybe he's not a nutter. That was the angle. And that used to frustrate me. So, yeah, I couldn't get my hands on things, but I would absolutely lap up spontaneous human combustion, the picture of people with, legs burnt, and all the classic photos, the classic walking down the stairs, human-shaped light person, the old woman in the back of someone's car who they'd just been to the funeral of. And I was like, these are adults. These are actual adults saying, I've seen something.
Yeah, not children. Yeah.
And I was like, so there's got to be something in it. You know what I mean? But the Cottingley fairies, I looked at those and I went, well, that's not what fairies should look like. That look like cardboard cutouts. I debunked that 10 years before they came out and said, yeah, it's just cardboard cutouts. It just didn't look right. No. Do you know what I mean? And do you remember Ghost Watch, whatever year that was on? I watched that and I was really excited that finally a live ghost hunt was going to be on TV. And I remember periodically I'd go up to my mum's room getting ready to go out and I'd be like, there's something dodgy about this. The kids seem like bad actors, but it's meant to be live. And again, I just didn't believe that at all. And I was absolutely flabbergasted when the next day the nation had been, fooled by this prank. And I'm like, all the things I've read, this is not how ghosts behave. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
None of it added up. So I had a wise little head on my shoulders as far as the paranormal was concerned. I'm quite proud of myself for that. There's not much I'm proud about from my little time, but yeah.
No, that's good because I watched it and I believed it. I wasn't into ghosts then. To be fair, Most Haunted got me started.
Oh yeah, well come on, we have that to thank, don't we, across the nation because that was a big
only thing.
yeah. But yeah, you'd get like Michael Aspel on programs, or QED would do like stories of reincarnation, and they'd always be really sciencey and very overly serious, not wanting to say, hey, maybe they are real in a real way. They were like, maybe some people see them, but there's probably a mental explanation for it. But that was then Most Haunted come along like, we think this is real, and I was like, this is awesome. And I'm showing people. My ex-wife was like, this is absolute bag of crap. And I'm like, it's not. Look there. He's possessed. He's getting possessed by a spirit. And look at that light. That's an orb.
Yeah.
And so it must be a spirit because we've never seen those before. And I heard Yvette talking about orbs the other day, and I thought, come on. I would have expected Yvette to say, at the time we thought they were spirits, but you don't have to review evidence long in night vision to see that it's probably not. Hot take, but
No, I wouldn't believe a lot of things that Yvette Fielding says, to be fair.
Well, I'm probably the last defender of her, and I'm afraid, after hearing some of the things, well, I've investigated places she's been and heard both sides. Like all the staff going, they were rocking the bus, all the production, and then just the other day she's like, and nobody was rocking it, and I was like, well, that's not what I heard. Do you know what I mean? And nothing against Yvette, I do like Yvette, but it's a TV program.
Fair play to you. That's not a common thought from a lot of people, to be fair.
Oh, I've met her in person a few times, and I just can't help but be won over by her. She's really nice.
Come on, Chris, give me a cuddle.
Let's have a picture. I can't resist. But she's making a TV program, and that's what she's good at.
That's what they've done, and they've got so many people into the field, so you can't really moan, I suppose.
No, she kept it going for all of us.
Definitely so.
Even though I was into it, sorry, Mick. Even though I was into it all those years, it was Most Haunted that gave me the push.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Seeing it every week, thinking I've got to do this.
Yeah. So you've got a paranormal team, I believe.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
If you could tell us a little bit about that.
Well, obviously, I'm looking for people in the area, thinking, how do you start a paranormal team? So I went on a public investigation, and me and my sister went. Now, I'd filled her head with, it's probably nonsense, and this is what we should do. If we get on a Ouija board, we'll sit opposite each other, and we will feel the people pushing it. So we really had a system of how to get the best evidence that they were all fake. I'm saying to her, if it's paid due every month, they need people coming back. Therefore, they need to make sure something happens all the time. As much as I was into ghosts, the rational brain was wishful thinking. Come on, probably not. But I had to have a go. I couldn't. But that was the idea. Me and my sister went, and we came away far more fascinated than having debunked anything really. We had an experience where a cold draft went through me, not around me. I felt it hit my front, chill my insides, go out my back, and then she had the same thing. And then the cameraman behind her fell over. And I was like, what? Even if he's faking it, how did he know what I felt and then my sister felt? And then he seemingly got knocked off his feet. And so I was like, this is intriguing. So anyway, I actually got friends with the team, because I'm like, okay, let's share, evidence. And how did you start the team? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Looked for people on their Facebook page who was most engaged, and then I privately messaged them and said, "Oh, you're from round near me. Do you want to, you fancy coming on a local team?" It's like, yes, let's meet at a pub. So we met, chatted. I looked in the local newspaper, found another local team, small team. I was like, hey guys, I'm meeting up with some people. Do you want to come? And it kind of started from there. So, yeah, Cy Booth, who ran Pennine Paranormal near me, he'd already been doing bits and bats, and we basically formed a super group. Hello, SK. So, that was the start of it, really. He had all the equipment. I was more interested in Ouija boards, and we were both exploring together, and there was people who got interested who we took on. And then my sister, getting out of uni and stuff, my sister finally joined, and now my niece has joined. So in a sense, it's a nice way to see my family. Yeah. And with this passion of mine that I've always had, and never had a family to share it with, So, but then there's people who always came. The most engaged became part of the team along the way. And so there's like 5 of us pretty much.
You need team members with a passion that are going to keep going, because sometimes it can be boring. It can be annoying. You've got to spend money. You've got to get for your petrol, and you're not going to sleep much the next day. And so you need people that are going to be dedicated to the cause, don't you?
Yeah.
And sometimes that's difficult, because they last a little bit, and then they think, oh, I can't do it this weekend. And then the excuses start.
Yeah.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah, you've got people who are really engaged who will take in all the programmes and whatever, in their own time. And other people who don't switch on until they come back. But they all hold different uses to the team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The most sceptical of the group is the one who shoots me down, because I'm no longer the most sceptical. I used to be the bedrock, and now I'm not. I'm like, no, actually I do believe in ghosts now. You know, so not everything's a ghost. That is such a truth.
Obviously, you seeing that figure in your bedroom when you were little. So from what I would understand is you would probably always be a believer just from seeing that.
No, because I was not stupid enough to think that I couldn't have dreamt it.
Okay. I suppose it depends on your own mindset as well.
Yeah, but I had nightmares in that house, and there was also when my elbow used to rap on the wall if I'm turning over, I used to picture these two different height to each other. They would glide in my head. They'd be gliding along from my mother's bedroom into mine to check on me, and I'd play dead even though I was in bed.
Oh wow!
And I carried that to the house after, but I met people after I lived there, and they were like grown-ups who said I lived there and I hated it. It was scary, which then brought it back up. I'm like, I thought it was scary, but I was a kid. You were an adult, you know. And so a childhood friend I grew up with ended up working there when it was a nursery, and was sort of saying, "Oh, me and my mother, we hate the pantry, the cleaning cupboard." That was what it was at the end of the corridor. Used to be my mother's bedroom, and I would always go for a wee, humming and holding my hands on my ears so that I couldn't hear anything talking to me. I never heard anything talking to me, but I feared that I would, like they were always watching. And yeah, so it's also mixed in with, there was a cartoon called Will-O-the-Wisp.
Yes.
And had a TV on it, Evil Edna. Now, she was in my nightmares recurring for ages, and she chased me down the stairs. So how do you untangle
I suppose, the
dreams of a child?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, yeah, that's what basically kept me into it. And then, not only that, but in the intervening years as I grew up to being a teen, I'd very much suddenly feel like there was something in the room with me. And even thought my brother had gone for the bus and then forgotten something. I saw what I thought was him swing around the banister, run to his bedroom, you know, as if like, oh God, I'm going to miss this bus and I've forgotten my thing I need. So I went in, what have you forgotten? No one there. And just that horrible feeling of, oh no, and I've just let it know that I saw it. You know? And it's like, I can't say that's a ghost, but at the time, that was a paranormal possibility that I'd had to like step back. I know I'm into it, but I don't really want it in my face on my own.
In the too house. Close to home.
You know, it's like I'd love to, but then from there, I'd have times when my mother would go out to work, and I'd set up a glass on the dining room table and put lettered cards as a makeshift Ouija board.
Yeah.
And I never asked out, but I did sit with my finger on the glass for longer and longer each time I dared to do that. But I daren't ask out. Because as far as I'd learnt, you had to smash the glass, burn the board. What, my mother's going to come home and I've set fire to the dining room table in the garden? I thought, how's that going to play out? Yeah. You know what I mean? But I was always fascinated. No. So it wasn't until, like you say, Most Haunted that I was like, right, I'm going to do this.
So, obviously, you've mentioned seeing the shadows in your house. Do you actually think they were spirits and your house was haunted?
I don't think anything. That's an experience I had, and I have no evidence whatsoever because I was a child. Unfortunately, that does play a part if you're going to realistically, you know...
Yeah, I suppose.
A kid sees a ghost or thinks he sees a ghost, what do you do with that? I was always into horror. I was always into dark things. Yeah. My head was full of it all the time. You know. Yeah. So no, I wouldn't. I used to wish that past relatives would come and say goodbye. You know, I'd want to turn around and oh my God, there's my grandma, there's my whoever. I thought, I know I'll be scared, but do it. I desperately want to. That's all I need.
Yeah.
You know, I was happy for it to happen, and it just didn't happen. So I suppose that then perpetuated my... You can experience things like I have, but ultimately it's just the brain. It's just shadows. and the brain's so clever. So I always flipped back to, you can explain it away with science.
Yeah, I suppose it's good to look at it from that point of view. Don't just believe everything is paranormal, everything is a spirit.
Well, no. I loved the idea.
Mm.
Every program I saw was, come on, probably not. They're mental. They're just walking back from the pub.
Yeah.
The light. I remember this a program about when they die and see the light. It was like QED was saying that the way that the brain shuts down and starves you of oxygen, you do get tunnel vision, and obviously the light's at the end of that tunnel. And
I've never heard about that.
So I'm walking away going, well, if that's what science is, you've got, realistically, then I've got to go, it is not as exciting as I thought.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Did you ever hear about that experiment they did? I may be getting some of the specifics wrong, but I think there was a hospital, and what they did, some people were going for operations. Obviously, they were going to be put out. And they put an item on top of like a unit or whatever in the operating theatre.
Yeah.
Obviously, the person on the bed could not see that from where they were.
Yeah.
And they obviously, if something happened, they'd be able to potentially float up. That's what you do. You leave your body, you look down upon yourself, and they'd be able to see this item. Now, I'm sure a couple of people this happened to, and they did see the item. What do you think about that sort of experiment? And
absolutely amazing. When I heard about that, I thought, well, perfect. You can't fake that.
No.
And that is what you should do. It's not, nothing wrong with it. So I've never heard any results whether anyone actually legitimately said yes. But why aren't there more than that? All these ghost hunters, there's billions of us. Why doesn't science offer a bit more? Okay, then show me.
I don't think science really wants to find answers. I don't think it's in their best interest, personally. I think they'll have to rewrite absolutely everything we've ever learned about the human race and how the body works if they come out and say, yeah, when you die, you pass over, your energy turns into a spirit and you can go around the world and in and out of these different realms. I don't think it's in their interest, and I think it's that simple. If they wanted to find it, they would do... I know you get these scientists that actually try and prove it, like Kieran O'Keefe, etc. But I don't know. I don't know where I stand on that, to be fair. But
well, Kieran O'Keefe's a ghost hunter. It's
he is.
He does it and has done for years. But then he says, "I don't believe in ghosts." Well, what are you doing it for then? Why would you?
He loves going out weekends, being a Ghostbuster, though.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he has to put his professional head on, though, quite a lot of the time to... Because imagine if he saw something and he'd come out and say, yep, that's a ghost. How would that go down in his teachings and his studies, etc.? I don't know.
But didn't he see a UFO when he was young? And
yeah,
he tells that story quite happily. But yeah, the scientific method means that it's got to be repeatable. And
yes,
I mean, look at fishing. That's not repeatable. Oh, I caught 10 fish yesterday, but today, well, So that is similar to ghost hunting. Every different night, you get different things.
Exactly. No night's the same.
Yeah. But also, there's an instinctual... I think we all have this. An instinctual reflex to not believe anybody else's experiences.
No.
Even in your own team. Someone's like, I just saw this guy walk through there. And instinctively, your knee-jerk reaction is, but did you see this instead? Are you tired? Yeah. And unfortunately, it's me being a child again and seeing something and nobody believe. I know what it's like. But, yeah, any other person, any other team, my knee-jerk is to go, did you though? Because you've only got to look at social media. A lot of the things, can you see anything in this photo? And then you read the comments, and it's like anything and everything. Yeah, I see this, that, and the other. And it's like, you can tell it's just a cushion with a floral pattern on. You can tell that. Have you never seen a photograph before? You know what I mean? And I just stay out of it.
Yeah, Facebook pictures are a nightmare. Do not ever put one up because you will either get ripped to pieces,
Yeah.
or you'll start fights or anything like that. It's just it's not a safe place to be.
Yeah. Well, I thought that sort of thing for a while because I just couldn't stand it. But now I keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
I've had people I love it when people send me pictures, but I'm always like, I don't think there's anything paranormal about that. What? There's a big black figure, and I'm like, there's a stain on a wall. That's what it. You know what I mean? I just wouldn't entertain it for a second.
No, I get videos sent to me quite often. They're like orbs, and it's like, did you have your flash on your phone? Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's like refracting off the dust particles, etc.
I've had arguments like that, but it looks when you enlarge it, it looks like my mother's face. What, like every other woman with a perm? Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, of course. And I just can't handle it, so I'm not the best person to.
But then
to show it.
These people, they could be new to the field, so they could be so excited about possibly capturing something. Maybe we shouldn't put a dampener on their enthusiasm because it might put them off completely. You never know. But obviously, when you've been doing it a long time, you think, don't be silly. But they might be new, I don't know. I was into orbs when I first started, taking pictures in the dark with my flash, and my digital camera. Oh my God, look, there's an orb. It's got a colour ring round it. It's green and red in the middle. And
me too.
I did all that.
Me too. Of course you do, because that's what you see. So monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
And a lot of ghost hunting's like that. Somebody does something once and then everyone's doing it. Human pendulum. And I just think...
I hate that.
It happens immediately? What? Explain to me what's happening there. That a spirit immediately gets into a person, there's just no waiting. It happens 100% of the time. It's not like a Ouija board where you might get nothing. It drives me mad. But that's where my team come in, because they're like, Chris, we've got to try it. There might be something in it, Yeah. And I need that pushback which they do give me.
Yeah, I suppose you can't always be 100% one way. You need that little give and take, I suppose. Just to try something, you never know. You might get some amazing evidence.
Yeah, it's like with apps.
Yeah,
I'd avoided apps. I'd said it's just random words. How can that be anything? I wouldn't use them. But you know what? When you've sat through enough hours where nothing's happened, I got to the point. I said, "Look, let's just fill this hour with trying some apps for fun," And we were doing a Ouija board at the same time, and the Ouija board did spell out like it was going Jenny, like Jennifer, and then my phone app went Jennifer, and I was like, "Well, that is odd," because I can't affect the little coincidences like that. Yeah. But then that particular night was very, very strong for that. That it seemed like they were correlating in some way. So, I kept trying it. I think this year we're not going to though.
I don't think there's anything wrong with using them as long as you don't think that 100%. Oh my God, there's a ghost. It just said, get out or anything like that. I think they're good to use alongside your senses, other equipment. I don't think there's any harm in using them. Like I said, as long as you don't go all out. Oh, Brian's here because he said Brian. My name is Brian. We must be talking to Brian. Yeah, I don't go down that path. I think they can work when possibly to start some sort of communication or maybe a relevant word comes through,
Yeah. Well, if you believe that they can affect Gauss or K2s or any other electrical equipment, why not a phone? You know what I mean? Yeah. So what I do is rather than waiting for them to say something and I respond, I say a number. Say Chris. So when it does, you're like, huh. Yeah. That isn't because they're meant to be affecting it. So, but yeah. It's boring in ghost investigating quite a lot. That's why we end up using things like that.
Yeah.
So.
You could be sitting there for hours talking to air. Nothing's happening. It's cold. You're tired.
Yeah.
You're trying to stay awake. and it's just a little spark. Sometimes it reignites you, and just helps. And maybe you'll get something. Maybe it's a door will bang, or something will fall off a shelf.
Yeah.
Coincidence? Who knows?
Yeah.
But you never know. That's the whole thing. We don't know what the spirit world is. That is why we're trying to communicate with everything and anything. So nobody knows.
Yeah, I saw you were selling your SB7.
Yeah.
Obviously, you hold no sway with it, as I don't. So, what do you think of it? What's your views on the spirit box?
Oh, I upgraded it. That's why I got rid of it.
So, have you had good evidence?
Yeah.
Like what?
Over the years, the original PSP7, where they had a blue screen, I remember I was in an old house, an old pub, and I was asking, I held 3 fingers up, and I was saying, can you tell me how many fingers I'm holding? And I must have asked this question about, I don't know, 2-3 minutes, and then I was getting really bored of it. I was thinking, come on, look, all downstairs at this pub I was just showing, how many fingers have I got? And then just before I was going to stop, a female voice come through. It said, answer 3.
Okay, that's interesting.
And I'm like, what? That blew my mind. That was about 2 years after starting. So, even today, that would blow my mind, because it gave me a direct answer. I wasn't saying a number. I was showing a number by the number of fingers. So I think, personally, that's like, tick.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, a lot of people don't like spirit boxes. Oh, it's just like radio frequency, radio bleed coming through. But the fact, if you have it on fast enough and it's on each station less than a quarter of a second, then you get full words in a row and sentences. What does that? How is that possible?
You prefer it fast?
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. I don't have it slow, because you get a lot of radio bleed that way. Yes, SK.
Why
it was Red House Pub. Yeah.
Why scan at all?
Yeah, you could have it on just the static white noise. Yeah, you could do that.
I don't understand why we need to have the radio waves pollute the evidence. You put it on and you leave it, surely.
Yeah.
I've done that. Nothing happened. But I do believe, if I'm going to believe that evidence, I'm going to make it as hard as possible for the spirit.
Yeah, I suppose it's a bit. You see the TV shows, don't you?
Yeah.
And you follow.
Project Fear stuff. Oh.
Well, yeah, Ghost Adventure started with the PSP7, but
yeah.
I would. There are a lot of things I don't use and I don't believe in, equipment-wise. But there are a couple of things I still use, like a spirit box. And it doesn't have to be that one. It could be a hacked one. I've had some amazing hacked ones that's given me answers like the 3 answer. That I'm holding something that tells me what it is. And, I have a full-on conversation. So I've had that before. So for me, I am a believer in the spirit box. But
I believe it in theory. I'm happy to think that a ghost should be able to affect it. But I haven't had any evidence. And, in my small bubble, that means it's not worked.
Would you change your mind if you did then? If you started getting evidence that could answer questions that you were...
Yeah. I mean, I've had some... don't get me wrong, if I say Chris, I'll get something that sounds a bit like Chris.
But you're listening
for it. A bit
for
like Chris. Yeah. So I'm like, that's not good enough.
Okay.
I'm not going for these grey areas. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I suppose everything is experimental, though. That's the whole point of it.
Oh, you've got to try it, haven't you?
Yeah.
I'm fine with trying it, but I was saying to my team, are we not trying it for long enough? Because on TV, it's like, 20 minutes of this. 30. I'm like, no, I'll give it 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean? We're going to go out for like 3 hours. We don't spend all night. And the Ouija board is more our trusted base.
See, I have a problem with the Ouija board because it can be manipulated by physical touch, same as dowsing rods, pendulums, things like that. Now, I have been on Ouija boards and I've had some amazing responses on them, answering questions for people that weren't on the board, and the people that were on the board had no idea about this person's life and family, and their family came through. So I do believe it can work. I personally don't like to use it because I find that when men are on it, it doesn't work. from myself using it. It's normally, if there's more women on it, it'll work.
How strange.
Yeah.
I've not had that. Oh, we've had endless. We've had years of having the information come through. Originally, I would always be trying to eliminate that push of the human, because obviously we're touching it. So I'd put a wine glass on a wine glass, and I'd say, "Well, move the bottom wine glass. Don't move."
Oh, I see. So you're
do you
touching
know what
the
I
top
mean?
one. Yeah.
I'm like, if energy goes through glass, then just take out the bottom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd do that.
That's a good idea.
Blindfold. I would not be on the board. I'd blindfold all the team and say, right, come on, Spirit. You know, you were talking to me a minute ago. Let's see what you can do. Gobbledygook quite a lot of the time. So then, because I worked at a printers for long enough, we had ink knives which were all separate colours, a yellow, red, blue and black.
Yeah.
I'd put them in front of the team without blindfolds on, say to the Spirit, go to black, yes, correct. Go to blue, correct. Go to... Right, everyone put your blindfolds on. I'll say, right, team, I'm going to switch up round the ink knife colours now. And I didn't. Right, Spirit, go to... Do exactly what you did before. Go to red, go to... No, it got it wrong. But on other occasions, it gets it right when they're blindfolded. And if I had I'd start to say, right, one person take a blindfold off, and the others not, and it'd get it all right. And over the years, you know, every time you investigate, you're like, right, let's ask it further. Now, Spirit, we've done this before, and you know, why can't you sort of? Do you need our eyes or something? And it's like, yes. I think this is my current theory that they use our energy, they use our bodies in some way. I've never been able to prove that we don't push it. We must push it. You know what I mean? We are physically touching it, therefore it is us pushing it. Now, you'd think that's over then, isn't it, Chris? You know, you've disproved Ouija boards. No, because the information that comes through that turns out to be right, we didn't know and couldn't know. You know, spirits have told us through the Ouija board, go get my diary, it's upstairs, it's red, it's blah de blah, in an abandoned farmhouse. You go on a search, there it is. You know, it's like, so he even found a teammate's keys that were lost for 6 months, and we were like, oh, what else can we ask? And we said, well, you know, just for fun, where's Jane's keys? And it said, it basically told her where it was in the house, and she was moaning at me about having to buy a second set of keys for the car, and she went straight to him. Oh, she rang her husband, and he went straight to her. I thought we'd looked in here, you know. And I'm like, a lot of evidence that is spot on. Or even a crime. We went to York, and there was a red shoe. Was talking to a girl about a red shoe, and you're thinking, this is just, you know, no one's going to prove anything out of this.
No.
But then when you look up the case on the internet, and you find out that there is something about a red shoe murder, and then all the evidence you've had for the past half hour rings true. And you're like, well, whether I'm pushing it or not, I don't know that.
Yeah.
You know.
See, I've got another example of Spirit Box working for me.
Yeah.
When was it? September. I was in Glasgow with Mark from West London Paranormal. We investigated Dalmarnock Bridge. Now, we'd done very minimal research on this bridge. The story was that there was a man is seen like on the top of the bridge ready to jump. You go near him to say, come down, and he jumps, but he doesn't hit the water. Now, that is the whole thing we were going on that night. We were trying to try and search for this man, this spirit, with different bits of equipment. We were under the bridge, and all we kept getting on the Spirit Box was burn, I was killed, things like this. I thought, well, that's not from the jumper. And then we were actually on the bridge because it's quite busy. It was next to McDonald's, so there's a lot of traffic, like people and cars. And we were just finishing up, doing an outro on the bridge. And this drunk couple, very, very smashed out their heads, walked past and saying, oh, what are you two doing? And I thought, I don't normally talk to drunk people at night, especially when I've got all this equipment with me. And I thought, oh, just ask them. I said, do you know anything about the bloke that's supposed to jump off, like the ghost? And she said, no, but there was a man burnt there at the side of the road.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Excellent.
And it's like, oh my God. Now, this is available on Google, newspapers. 2 people were convicted of this person's murder. They beat him up, set him on fire alive. This was all on Google. And if people want to believe that I researched it first, that's up to them. But 100%, in my eyes, we were searching for this bloke because all our questions were about this man that jumps. And we had all this on the spirit box about being burnt, killed, etc. And it's like, wow, we did not know that. And this couple just told us as they were walking past. And for me, that's like that, like yourself with your Ouija board experiments and finding the keys, etc. You didn't know. So sometimes you get these little bits actually work and they all fall into place.
Yeah.
So for me, that's sort of my version of what you've just described. You know, I think sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, but when you've got those stories that you shouldn't have, like it gave you all that detail.
Yeah.
You've got to walk away thinking, I couldn't. There's coincidence and there's this.
Yeah.
You know, I know coincidences do happen. I'm fine to admit that, but like it just wore me down over 14 years of seeing information drip out to people who I didn't think it was right, but they were, you know, public members were like, yeah, that's absolutely right. You can't help but think, well, I didn't know that, you know. Yeah. We'd always say to people, don't say, is that you, Auntie Jane? Say, you know, did you used to drive this coloured car, that type of car, or this?
Yeah.
Multiple choice it, you know. And we don't know the answer. And it'd always be right when it was like relative of theirs. And so it doesn't prove it, but it whittles down your scepticism.
Yeah. It gets rid of certain parts of it that think, okay, well, that's been proved right.
Yeah.
And you
it's
can
like,
slowly...
Okay, yeah, it's not a ghost, but it's some sort of telekinesis that we're having. It's some sort of telepathy. Sorry, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You know, just do I think ghosts exists? Well, I think something exists that I'm going to call ghosts because I don't know what else it is yet. You know, when you see shadow people, is it a ghost by the definition of a ghost, or is it some other science or an echo? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, lots of people have seen shadow figures. I've seen loads of them.
Yeah, that to me.
But are they ghosts? I don't know.
Are they ghosts? Yeah. If you're looking for aliens, and that's all you're upset, or Bigfoot, and you see a shadow in the forest when you're doing that, you'll think it's what you're looking for, won't you?
Exactly. You'll fit the pieces to make the narrative fit.
But you've seen something, and that's more than you expected.
Exactly.
You know.
So, have you ever been scared at a location?
I would have said no, never, but I have been scared twice.
Yeah.
Three times, twice in one night, and the first time was also the first time I ever saw something.
Okay.
So right, we're in a graveyard, a local graveyard that we know. It wasn't even totally dark, but as we just started, quarter of an hour in, I started to get this feeling, which I never get. I don't get any funny feelings. I go in, I do it, quite like I am now. Walk away, that was a good time. But I was like, really feeling the instinct to say, do you know what? Something's not right tonight. We should go home. But I'd invited the whole team to come and do this thing. So it's like, well, I can't say that. But I had this feeling of, I just don't feel right. I feel like we shouldn't be here. Like we're going to be told off for being here, or you know, shunted on. What are you doing, you lads with a Ouija board in this? you know, some were like, I feel like we're going to be rumbled, and I wanted to go, and I did say, you know what, I just felt really weird, like we shouldn't be here, but then I shrugged it off and we got on with it. And then I started to feel it again, and I looked out into the graveyard, which was, let's say, 50 yards, 100 yards, and I saw like a mist, but it was in a Z shape, so it's more like a scarf, a silky scarf, billowing and just gliding along the cemetery. And I watched it, not side-eye, like, I was like, what's that? Now, the most scientific thing you could say was, it's a wisp of cloud, like on a foggy day. Literally nothing else. It wasn't foggy. But I saw this, and I felt weird, previous. So to see that freaked me out. I've just seen something and I feel like we're using a Ouija board, we're talking to ghosts. I felt like I'd seen a ghost. So that was a very strong unnerved feeling, I would say. And then the time, well, you know what it's like. So you're on an investigation. Can you please make a noise? Can you bang on some? This is a question that you ask 1,000 times a year, and you don't get anything. What you might be lucky if you get a building crack, cooling, a radiator ping, and you're like, yeah, that wasn't anything. But then in the room next to us, 2 loud bangs on these plastic tubes, which I think were from Mass Plumbing, but they were a dog, where you take your dogs on sort of holiday, I'm going to say. They run through these plastic things for fun.
Yeah.
So they're probably used in drainage or something, though. A human could crawl through them,
Yeah.
But, yeah, there was, like, literally, if it was me and you were investigating, and then in the room next door we heard 2 bangs, for a fact you locked the door, there's only you 2 there. There was 4 of us in the building together. And it wasn't just a mediocre, could have been a building. It was full on. So much so that I daren't go towards it. That was my immediate reaction of, oh my God, that's amazing, but I'm not about to run in there. It was too powerful, if you know what I mean.
Too strong, was it?
Yeah, it was like, God, if that slaps me around the face, that's going to hurt. Because that sounded loud. Yeah. Luckily, we got it on camera and everything.
Oh, nice.
But then, when the 2 girls went home who were guests with us, leaving me and my teammate Lucy. So, ultimately you calmed down. That was a great night. Fantastic. Can't wait to watch it again. Brilliant. Want to tell everyone about it. So she's sort of undoing the equipment, wrapping it all up. I'm maybe carrying some chairs that we brought down. We're in the cellar. I go to... everything's off recording, and I start to go up the stairs of the cellar, and I just heard this bloody commotion. Things are being knocked all over, and I just instantly had this thought of something could be about to be thrown at you, and I got my hands full in my, a tin of paint. It was all, the backroom sort of idea, and so I just put down the chairs and hot-footed it to Lucy and went, bloody hell, Lucy, something up there, and she's like, what's wrong with you? And I swear to God, I said, that did scare. That was scared. I was scared because, I thought I was going to be attacked. Either physically by something being thrown at me or something was going to rush at me and hurt me. Yeah. I mean, I welled up. Do you know what I mean? That fear response of, oh my God.
Did you go up and have a look?
Yeah, and paints had been moved about. Something had fallen, you could say.
Yeah.
And then when we'd gone and the staff heard about this, they found it even in more disarray and looked on the cameras and were like, well, you weren't like that when you left. So you could say poltergeist activity. And they'd had it since. They've been like these chairs who were sat in a pile on top of each other when ended up down the cellar steps overnight. So it wasn't a freak occurrence. It was like there's something going on there. Yeah. But I did shit myself.
I'm sure we will have at one point in the
which is fantastic.
Journey.
I mean, that's what I go for.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, but you've got to go and see what it is. You can't just leave. And otherwise, why are you there? Like you say, you can get scared. It can affect you, but you have to go and find out what that was, what the cause was, if there is something there.
If it happened all the time, I certainly would, but it never happens. So I literally wasn't actually switched on to do it. So then it's like we need to leave our cameras recording now. Every time they need to be the last thing that we shut off.
I learnt that quite early because when I used to film, we used to have breaks and stuff, and we used to turn the cameras off and go wherever out the building or wherever we were, and then stuff would happen with their voices or things would fall down the stairs or we heard bangs. It's like cameras aren't rolling.
Yeah.
So from that point on, I've always, if I'm at a location or wherever it is, recording start to finish. By the time I leave my car, by the time I'm back in my car, because you just know. You have to cover all bases. I have missed many bits of activity from not having camera on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Although I've watched enough footage, I'm not even sure that spirits can be seen on night vision.
I've never seen it. It's only audio I ever capture.
Yeah.
Never. I don't think the equipment that we have, camera-wise, is capable of capturing a spirit walking or ghost.
Yeah.
I think the cameras in the old days, the old 35mm cameras, etc. There's some very good still photographs of potential spirits that they captured back in the day, like in the 20s and the early 1900s. They didn't have CGI, they didn't have Photoshop, they didn't have these photo apps. You know, I think maybe the still camera is more, I don't know, maybe there's something of how it's made, how it develops the picture. I think that's more of a, I don't know, proven than video cameras at the moment. But yeah, I've never seen anything on video.
No, the odd time that we've had cameras facing the right way and people have seen things, when you watch the footage, there's nothing there. And it's the same with audio.
Yeah.
Same with audio. You'll hear footsteps up the steps and then go to your evidence, listen, we'll play it back, and there's like, excuse me, there's one footstep. And you're like, but we all heard it, and this is expensive equipment. So, that's what EVP is, isn't it? You're recording nothing, and yet when you play it back, you hear it. So,
well, on your YouTube channel, and you do a lot of paranormal TV show reviews, don't you? Mm-hmm. And we can talk about that in a minute, but I just wanted to bring your attention to one of them. Are You Haunted? You do them, don't you? Phil and Sarah
I'm going to start,
and Jane,
yes,
etc.
Going to start.
Yeah. Well, I've obviously worked with them a few times.
Yeah.
And they've told me stories about, I think it's a theatre. I don't know if Jane's still in the chat or not. Phil and Sarah were in this theatre, and they were at the hub, and they looked up and they saw a figure walking down the stairs with their own eyes, just there looking at them. Now, their cameras are obviously on them at the hub while they're watching the CCTV, so they didn't have any of their cameras on there. But luckily, the CCTV of the building was recording. Now, they've told me that on the footage of the stairs coming down, you can just about see a little wisp of light moving. So obviously their eyes, they saw a full figure, but on the CCTV it just caught little wisps of light, not full but very, very small, walking on the steps. So I don't know, CCTV possibly. I don't know the difference. I don't know enough about cameras and how they work.
Yeah.
To be distinguished between the two, but they could have had a full apparition on camera, but it didn't even show up.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know how it all works, but
yeah, I just don't think don't think we're gonna catch it how we think.
I don't know.
So I like that. Their methods, the no equipment methods, is something I'm going to go more towards this year. I would much rather sit in silence for 2 hours and then hear legitimate footsteps than have an hour full of words coming out of my phone. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's paranormal, I would rather say, yes, but no one's walking there.
There's no one here, just us.
So that is good. I expect my phone to say words. That's how it works. But there shouldn't be footsteps. So I'm going to definitely put more time into that.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams are changing to that now. They are going back to basics style, I think.
Yeah.
I think
say that, but a lot of YouTube and things.
But that's YouTube people, isn't it? There's a lot can be said about certain teams that are around at the moment, especially from TikTok.
It's exhausting.
It is.
I can't tell them all they're wrong. I ain't got time.
No, it's best just to ignore them and just think to yourself, "Oh my God."
But then it muddies the waters. It
does.
I think I do a damn good job of being a good scientific and believer and gathering evidence. I'm really confident in the way that I do it.
Yeah.
We don't get lucky. No one knows who we are. Do you know what I mean? I've put all my life into this interest.
Yeah.
And I'm not after views. But it's just I see these things. I'm like, that's not and you're just making everyone else look bad. Laughing at us.
Yeah, I know that feeling. It's who you know, not what you know or what you can prove, isn't it? In this game, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
it's about the nights that things don't happen as well, isn't it? Because that's showing that, like, if we sit at a Ouija board and nothing happens for an hour, we're all between each other going like, well, that proves we're not wanting to push it around.
Exactly, that's good.
So, yeah.
A lot of, at least you are true to yourself.
Yeah. There's been times when spirits have just told us to go home, and it's like, oh, okay. Fine.
See you later.
If you're not gonna play, what's the point? Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your favourite TV paranormal show?
Well, it's split. It's Are You Haunted and Project Fear, and I've recently just unsubscribed from Project Fear just as a show of, I think you've gone all too YouTuber. I really like the people. But their investigation methods are corrupt now. Recently, they were talking. 3 spirits died in this room, in this location, and then one's a little girl called Eleanor. So the other 2 got forgotten about. Whatever that spirit was, it was Eleanor. Is that you, Eleanor? Eleanor, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Hang on, you just said it's 3. Just because you don't know their
names. Yeah.
I just when it doesn't matter what all the stories on a location. When we open up an investigation, things are drawn to us like moths to a flame. Whether there are spirits related to us, or because when we do a Ouija board, if there's something there, you'll get it immediately. Otherwise, things are travelling to you from the surrounding area. What brought you here? And they say, your light, the light that we protect ourselves with.
Oh, wow.
We saw you.
Yeah. We
saw your light. We came towards it. And some of them are like, what do you want? It's like, sorry, did we disturb you? Well, yeah. All right, So, and this happens everywhere. Every investigation is a data point. And I always bang on about this, but it's the most amazing thing that they all agree that reincarnation's a thing, and they all agree how it works, no matter where you go. No matter how you ask them and try and trick them, they'll give you the same answer. And I just wish more teams could work with me on this, and try and I want to see if it's just us, if it's us putting that information down.
Do you think reincarnation is a thing then?
That's what they say, and it makes sense to me. And if you look at other religions, Hinduism or whatever, it's reincarnation, and it makes sense to me that I was born with some sort of shadow from a previous life. I was born with a mourning somebody had lost, and I hadn't lost anybody. I had a very downbeat persona, and it took ages to shake that off. Where'd that come from? It just makes sense. So the spirits say I've been alive 6 times, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, I'll take your word for it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
The baggage that you entail, and
yeah. Have you ever done past life regression, or would you, or do you believe in it? I would love
to. I haven't looked into it. I imagine it's pricey. But yeah, I'd love to do it now, especially now that I know this from the board. I would, yeah.
I did it last year at Parameet.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, with Paul Goddard, very good. And some people were having time to do 2 or 3 lives. I had 1 life on mine, and I was in Italy. I think it was like 12, 13 or something. That was a year. And my family had been kidnapped and killed because I went against some of the local men, as it were, like the tribe or whatever. And then they killed me. And when I was coming back, like, and saying, what have you learned from this life? And I said, I need to protect my family. And I had a meltdown. I was screaming, crying. And I've never done that. He brought me around very quickly, and I just had a meltdown. It was quite embarrassing, to be fair. It was all on video. And it's like, wow, something. Do you know what? He gave me healing and protection afterwards for like another 20 minutes, and I felt brilliant. the relief I felt after getting all of that out. Now, whether that was from this life, whether it was from another life, maybe it was something built up in myself. I needed that, and I felt like amazing drug that went through my body on that release, and I felt good for a few months, you know. So I do believe I was a bit unsure before, because I was thinking, how is that possible? Do you fall asleep? What if they bring the wrong Miki back? Do they bring like the three Mikis to go back through? I didn't know how it works, but you are aware of your surroundings, but he just picks part of your brain and draws you into that section of it, which I think is fascinating. But yeah, it was a bit too emotional for me, to be fair.
Well, what you mentioned there was what did you learn, and then that's what spirits say when we're questioning them. They're like, no, you're going to school, mate. That's, you know, you go down to earth to learn and level up. You level up in your karate belts, and then you come back, and when you're ready to do another sitting, you'll go back in, no matter how long it is, you know. And it's all about evolving and getting better, you know. And you can only get better through challenge, can't you?
Yeah, of course.
So we come down here and go through the mill, but you learn, you overcome, you know.
Yeah. Do you what's your idea of what happens when you die? Do you have a theory, or?
Well, I just go by what I'm told by the
Ouija board. I don't know if you had a certain belief, because obviously lots of people say different things.
Well, most people would say that, if you're into ghosts and God, you want there to be an afterlife. You're just desperate. And I was like, oh no, I'd rather there wasn't. I'd live a much better life knowing this was it. Do you know what I mean? I would go and live it. I was fighting the fact there was an afterlife when I started the team. Like, it's just you're just wrong. There's nothing after. There's nothing. And now boots on the other foot. I'm like, no, you know, I've been convinced that okay, I can accept that it makes sense. It makes sense with religions that have almost tuned into the, you know, the way that you come down to learn. I'm like, it makes sense. It makes sense to me. So I'm fine thinking you're reincarnated and you learn. It's given me a sense of peace, you know. Yeah. When I had my appendix out, I had like, the doctor said, "Oh, you've had about a week to live, Chris, because your sepsis and all that in your gut would have been, you know, it was your appendix was shredded. It was all green and horrible." But so I was fine. Then 3 days later, I was being told you were on for dying there, and I was just like, do you know what? I'd have been fine. So, the whole ghost hunting thing really, it gave me confidence, you know, being able to do these, being able to talk to the public. It's helped me no end, but ultimately, I think there's something there. I'm not in a rush to die, but apparently I've died before, so it wasn't that bad, you know. I don't remember it. No. So I'm fine.
Going back to the graveyards, a lot of people say, "Oh, why'd you ghost hunt there? There's no ghosts in there. Why would there be ghosts?" Over my years, I've found that cemeteries and graveyards are very active. Personally, what's your thoughts on that theory?
We've always found them quiet, but you might get one or two stragglers. Must admit, you walk there and you think, well, there's thousands of people here, but they've got nothing, no real reason. They'll come visit their own grave, you know. They might come and visit family, I suppose, but I think they're more interested in visiting living family. But as I say, no matter where you open up a Ouija board or you're focusing on ghost hunting, I think you give off some sort of focus that, oh look, they're gone all quiet waiting for us to talk. We'll go talk to them if they wish to. But graveyards in general, yeah, I don't expect much.
I think some people think they're more for the look. They look creepy. They look scary.
Yeah, absolutely. It tunes you in. Yeah. It tunes you into we are ghost hunting. This is creepy, and that's why I do what I no longer really call protection. I call it invitation. It's like, right, before we start this, there's a routine. Let's all get together. Right, you know, we're here to focus. Let's put the white light that they see. Let's concentrate on that. It's just it might just be a mental focus. But I don't mind calling it protection. I like the fact that we open up to spirits, we put on this protection. When you dig down into protecting yourself and then saying, come touch me, it's counterintuitive. But the fact is, we go into a mode and then we take that mode off and go about our business elsewhere. It's just a good tuning in. So, I forgot what my point was, but yeah, the fact that we go into a mode helps us out, and I don't know whether I believe in protection as such, but do you do anything like that? Probably not. No.
Because I'm open to everything. I'm there to not only talk to the light, I'm also there for the dark, if you believe in that sort of thing. So for me, having protection, sort of like you're only getting 50% of the spirits, in my eyes anyway. So, I'm happy to have anything negative coming through.
No, it doesn't seem to be like that. It doesn't seem to be a filter.
No. Okay.
It's just, I used to do it for a crutch for the team and for everyone else, so that when they go home and something inevitably falls over, they sort of go, it's all right, things fall over, I'm protected.
Yeah.
Whereas really, I don't believe in protection. But I do believe in having a focus to tune in and tune out, turn on, turn off. Do you know what I mean?
What have you ever had mediums work with you?
Yes.
With your team, etc.
Of course. You watch Most Haunted, you think you have a medium. So I'd go and ask for mediums, and I'd say, okay, so basically you're here to fill in the gaps when the Ouija board or the equipment's not doing anything. And we sat there thinking, we aren't mediums. Whereas if you've got normally you sit there for half an hour, nothing's happening, and you're twiddling your thumbs. But if you have a medium there, they can say, oh, there's a guy here, but he stood back, he don't want to get involved, and you're still invested. You're like, oh, cool. So you've got the energy.
It keeps you going.
Yeah. Like, what about him? Oh, he's got this wearing his and it just fills it in. Now, are they any good? No, I've not found a useful medium any more than every other bit of equipment that's, an app is like, yeah, is it or isn't it? They just say things that I could say. So I've not found a medium that the board agrees with. I've had mediums say, oh, there's a boy here, and then I'll ask the board, and oh, there's a female woman, and I'm just like, well, you might as well go home.
So what would it take for you to believe them at the time then? Would it be for them to tell you something personal that they don't know about you or your team members?
No,
or just to correspond with what the board is
I'd like to
bringing
see the Ouija board agree with them. Say, yeah, that's right. Because it's the same spirit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I do is I will say to the team, I'm going to go over out of sight, and I'm going to write a number on a board, let's say, and I want you to have the spirit tell you on the Ouija board.
Okay.
So I'm going to write a number. Got a medium stood there. They tell me they can talk to the spirit. So the spirit will say, "Oh, you wrote 5." Oh, So we're done, aren't we? That's easy. The ghost tells the medium what I write over there. So I'm like, "Come on, spirit, you and me round this corner," and I'll write a letter. And the reason I write a letter is the spirit only has to go, "He wrote C," to the medium, and yet the team's like all having these numbers go through their head. So they're programmed to pick a number, but I've already bypassed that because I'm not doing a number. I'm talking directly to the spirit.
I like that.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
It's so simple. And mediums, they don't like it. Well, why won't you? What's so underhanded? I can speak to spirits, all right? What did I write on this board? Oh, you tricked me. It's like, yeah, I tricked you. I didn't trick your mate. Your spirit mate.
Yeah.
I don't. Because that hasn't happened, and it's so simple. I'm not. I want them to be mediums. I'm not saying there aren't mediums. I'm just saying they're not useful for what I do because they embarrass themselves walking. They start giving the public members around me readings. Oh no, I don't know what you're on about. And I was like, well, I could have done that. I could have said to him, "Is your granddad Frank?" No, I didn't have a granddad Frank. Oh, I'm just as good as a medium. Do you know what I mean? If
love
I can get it wrong exactly the same as a medium, what's the point of having a medium?
Yeah. Definitely.
You know, you're meant to be extra special above everybody else, but you get it wrong all the time. Well, so do I. You know. Yeah.
Oh, I love you, Chris. It's brilliant, man. Brilliant. Oh dear. So, I've just got a little example for you. On Sunday, I was at a certain cemetery with the West London Paranormal boys, and we split up inside the cemetery. We had various bits of equipment around, and the thing we're going to talk about is we had a K2 meter. It doesn't matter, it's a K2 meter, it could be a pendulum for all I care. The fact, it was wedged into part of the wall, yeah? So it couldn't fall off, wind couldn't blow it. Something was happening to Mark. He came running over to us, and he was telling us what had happened, what he'd heard, etc. And we turned round, and this K2 meter come out of the wall, like it had been pushed off the wall. Now, it wasn't on top of the wall. It was like halfway up the wall. It was in like bits had come out of it.
Sticking out sideways?
Yeah. So it was like this. Yeah. So, but I had a camera, and there was a camera facing that way, a static camera. The camera that I turned round just too late before this. Just as it hit the floor, I turned round because I heard it. The camera that was actually facing that way, Mark had stepped in front of it. Now, do you think, for myself personally, I personally do not think that would have fallen off. Now, it could be wind, but it wasn't windy at the time. It could have been hanging off the edge, not very stable, but Rich assures me it was in there. There's no way that was coming off. Now, my question is, why does this only happen when the cameras are not on it? If the cameras are on it and it was clear through, I don't think that would have come off. Because evidence is, like physical evidence, I don't think is ever captured. Like them paints that you had in that place that you went to. Why do you think I think they like to tease you. They like to tease us. You can't get that on camera. You know, what are your thoughts on that? Cause
well, first,
it annoys me.
Physically, I don't know if you can see that, but
the
the front end of a K2 is wide and heavier, isn't it?
Yeah, it was on its side, so the lights were facing up.
On its back, then. On
its back, on its back. Yeah, it wasn't upwards. It was laying flat on its back.
So it was on something, not hanging off.
No, it was on a brick.
Right,
it was on a brick.
Got you.
Yeah.
But, so as to the question of do they not want to be seen, they have said that to us, that they're not supposed to interact, but just like we break rules that are set for us around the country, so do they, because they're people too. But yeah, so I think yes, I think they know they're human and they know not to be caught. Just like, I mean, a lot of us when we're alive now avoid cameras. Someone's filming something, you automatically walk out of shot. But I don't think they're meant to be caught, because we're meant to be doing a test down here. You know, we're meant to be struggling, and if you, although we would all help our kids with the exams to get them full marks, it wouldn't do them any favours, would it?
If we took the test for them, no.
Yeah, so it's like you've got to stand back and let them struggle, and you know. So yeah, I do believe in spirit guides and spirit guardians. I've heard fascinating stories from people I know about these sort of things, and spirits say that when they've evolved from all their reincarnations, they become beings of pure light. They can choose to come down and guide us.
Yeah.
You know, so there is a structure, and yet I'm saying yes, I think that they're not supposed to be seen. But I don't know the answer. So the K2 falling off, if you say wind wasn't the option, that's going to be the only option. They don't vibrate. If it rang, if it vibrated, that could be an option.
It hadn't been going off either.
But it's also Sod's Law, isn't it?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Some people say it would be the wind. It was wet. It was on there at the correct angle. I don't know. But
look, the way that you've got a camera on me now, but you're seeing so little of this room.
Yeah.
There's so many things could happen that you just don't see. And so even, and then we've got people, you're filming the people, they're blocking the camera. It's just going to be the way. You're not going to see it, are you? And like we've said, even if you do look at something straight on, it often doesn't look how you thought.
No, because your mind creates and changes, doesn't it?
But when people watch your investigations and you're in a graveyard and the way that the stones or the moss go, all the comments are like, I think I just saw a face coming out of the stonework before. So it goes both ways. You can look at something directly and make something else of it. You can, you're just not going to catch compelling evidence.
I don't think we're allowed to, like you say, we're not allowed to find out the proper truth until we pass over, until we die. And if there is an afterlife, that is when it's all going to be explained. That is when you're going to find out, and you'll be like, oh my God. Well,
the spirits that we talk to, they don't remember their lives until they're dead. Then they go, oh yeah, I've been alive 4 times, and I was this, I was this, I was this, I did this. It all comes back to you. So I expect when I die, I'll be like, yeah, I've sat my 6th exam, and now I remember everything,
Yeah.
And so it's fascinating. And whether it's true or not, that's the reality that I live in, that I've learnt these things, And yes, I'm willing to say that we do move the planchette, but I'm after the next question. I'm not looking for the next hurdle of how much interaction do these spirits need us, use us in effect. Because we've got a spirit in us, essentially. So
we are a spirit, yeah.
Spirits can get in us. That shouldn't be a question.
No. Yeah. But I've got a couple of questions left for you.
Right.
First one, what is your bucket list location that you'd like to investigate? Anywhere in the world.
A bucket list. Now, I've seen it might have been Ghost Adventures. There's an island, I'm going to call it the Island of the Dead, where you take a little boat out to it, and it's covered in all hanging dolls and...
Island of the Dolls in Mexico.
There you go. That's
my one. I love that place. Yeah.
I don't know much about it. Just like, well, that's cool.
Yeah, it must be such a creepy place.
Yeah, no, for no other reason other than it's proper creepy looking.
Yeah.
And I'd like to picture myself doing a Ouija board there. Would be like the ultimate scary thing. But anywhere, a lot of these big places that you might expect me to list, they're just wrung out like a sponge. I'd rather go somewhere down the road, three houses down, where the grandma is dead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really have proper places to go. I'll go anywhere.
You don't chase the fame location then?
No, I can't afford it. We don't make any money out of it.
Yeah, this is free though. We can take you.
Yeah. No, I don't.
Yeah, it's not about what you can afford and what I can afford. It's like, doesn't matter. We're going to go there if you want to go there.
If we're going somewhere for free this Saturday, I would like to go to any large rundown asylum or hospital. I want to be somewhere so huge that I feel there's no way out for it unless I have to go a long, long way. Do you know? I want to feel that. Okay, if anything happens now, what do I do?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I want to lose all sense of quick exit to see how my brain reacts.
How you cope with that, yeah.
And if then I do create something in my head, but it takes a lot. I'm always a no, that's nothing. No, that's nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got a really high bar of letting evidence through. But,
that's good. That's not a bad thing, though.
Well, the things that I like are always spellbinding then. I'm like, it jumped through all my hoops, so it must be good.
Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And the last question I have for you tonight, if you could get rid of one thing in the paranormal field, it's gone forever, you'll never have to see or deal with it again, what would it be?
Orbs.
Orbs, that's a good one.
I want anyone to mention an orb ever again. Yeah. Now, I'm all for the... I have heard stories on a Danny Robbins podcast where these 3 nurses saw a football-sized orb of light with their bare naked eye going down a corridor. I'm all for that. That, to me, is an orb.
Yeah.
But not dust on a camera lens. You know.
Yeah.
Well, not all dust. Not all the orbs are dust. All right, love you. Whatever. Do you know what I mean? I get it all the time. Yeah, but the ones that you there are some amongst those. Well, I'm sorry. If a ghost looks like dust, I just still don't care. It could be maybe it's a ghost, but you look so much like dust. I'm not going to pay you any attention.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think looking with your own eyes is definitely the more convincing for me.
Yeah, if I saw something with absolutely. That's fantastic. I believe that spirits are effectively, ultimately light, and a ball of light. I'm told by many mediums that's their purest appearance before they weave themselves into appearances.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense. I'm fine with that. I just haven't seen an interesting mote of light myself.
No, that's fine. So Shell said she loves you. Love this man.
There's a sane lady right there. A real investigator.
Yeah. So Chris, thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's been such an awesome show. You know, your answers are just love it. Absolutely brilliant. And I thank you for joining me. If you'd just like to let people know where to find you on your socials, etc.
Well, it's Whitehouse Investigations on YouTube, and I'm presuming that you'll put a link to it down in the description, so that
I can do that.
Otherwise, you'll end up looking at the American White House for long enough, wondering where we are. But also on Facebook, I'm always ready to answer questions, have a chat about it on Whitehouse Investigations. Quite simple, yeah. I'm always switched on. So if you want to talk about it, I'm ready to go.
Thank you so much, Chris.
And I wrote a book. My book's on Amazon.
Now you tell us, and we've finished.
Into the Darkness. Into the Darkness, Becoming a Ghost Hunter. It's all my first, first 30 odd years of my life in paper, and Ouija board sessions in there, and my experiences.
Oh wow.
There you go.
Oh, that's a great way to end. Go on Amazon and find this book, people. Come on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome, Chris. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
See ya.
Well, there you go, guys. Wow, what an awesome man Chris is. Such an easy person to talk to. So much experience, so much knowledge, and it's just about the connection. Awesome man. So go check him out on all the socials. Like I said, go to Amazon and buy his book. Find out what's happened to him over the years, what Ouija board experiences he's had. And yeah, that's all I can say, really. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are awesome. I'm glad we're back. We have the girls from Lost Souls Paracon next Tuesday at 7:30. If you'd like to come back and join me, that would be awesome. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like the Instagram page, and I'll see you next Tuesday. See you later.